Welcome to this edition of ONTV News. I'm Ian Locke. We started last week's program off with a look at ONTV's move from our old studio facility into our new home here at the Orion Center. Today we'll take a look at some of the new technology that's available to the Orion community. With our move came many changes. Our new studio space is almost twice the size as our old studio, and the public workspaces have been increased five-fold. With the addition of new editing computers and new high-definition checkout cameras, Orion residents will have the best tools at their fingertips to learn and produce video programs. Our studio control room is nothing like you've ever seen before. This nerve center is where our studio programs are produced as they happen. The new control room is connected not only to our studio, but all of the other remote video locations around our community, including Township Hall, Village Hall, the library, school board offices, and the LOHS television studio. In the Orion Center, wiring was completed that will allow ONTV to broadcast directly from the first floor conference rooms or the lower level activity rooms. To get those signals out to the community, it takes just a flip of a switch. One special program in the works will air live to the community on June 19th. ONTV will be cablecasting a candidates forum sponsored by the Orion Area Chamber of Commerce and feature the local candidates who are running for Orion Township Supervisor, Treasurer, Clerk, and Trustee. We hope you mark your calendar for June 19th at 7 p.m. for this historic program. On Saturday, March 28th, over 79 local Girl Scout troops gathered at Bald Mountain State Recreation Area in celebration of the 100th birthday of the Girl Scouts. Local Girl Scout troop leader Carrie Marlowe organized and set up the whole event. Parents and Girl Scouts helped to prepare for their day of fun. ONTV caught up with Carrie to see how she felt about the day's events.
We're celebrating the 100th birthday of Girl Scouts. Girl Scouts turned 100 on March 12th, 2012. We've got troops from 79 different areas of Michigan coming in today and making new friends, and we're celebrating with balloon release this afternoon and campfire tonight, doing all kinds of different badge workshops and stuff like that all during the day today. When I was younger, we always were together with other groups of Girl Scouts. We did so many different things together, and we knew so many different people from all over the place. And our girls today don't have that opportunity, so we decided to go ahead and get together today so that they could meet new friends and hopefully make new friends to the point of where we'll be able to do all different kinds of things together from here on out and just, you know, start forming friendships.
I've been a brownie I've been in Girl Scouts for about 4 years now.
I've done it since Daisy, so for about six years.
I really didn't.
Their day included several activities such as a balloon release, badge collecting activities, games, and food. The Girl Scouts also set up tables to sell baked goods and Girl Scout cookies. All the proceeds went to the funding of their Girl Scout program. Overall, Carrie Marlowe said the event was successful and rewarding for all the troops. Cub Scout Pack 128 from Weber Elementary recently decided to give back to the community in an exciting and unique way. Rather than hold a traditional food drive or collect canned goods, Pack 128 undertook the task of growing fresh vegetables through the Community Gardens Initiative at the Oakland County Parks and Recreation Greenhouse at Waterford Oaks County Park. On Saturday, April 28th, the pack and their families reconvened at the greenhouse to harvest what they had grown. All the vegetables were donated to Lighthouse of Oakland County, a nonprofit focused on providing food and clothing to underprivileged families. The initial idea was sparked by Tiger Cub coach Danielle Totten, a participant of the Community's Garden Initiative herself, but the project was a collaboration between her and Pack 128 Cub Master Eric Kimanu. They both saw an opportunity to teach the Cubs not only about charity work, but also about independence and sustainability.
Well, my biggest thing is I really believe in giving back to the community and helping people learn how to create their own food and learn how to feed themselves. But that's important for the Boy Scouts to learn, but also the community service, the ability to give back to the community and just, you know, as much as we can give back.
We planned all all different kinds of vegetables, onions, lettuces, cabbage, onions, potatoes, turnips, everything that would grow quickly and well here in the greenhouse. Danielle came out on a weekly basis, made sure that they were well watered, and as soon as she let us know it was time for the harvest, we got the scouts back together again to harvest them for the food bank.
For more information on how you can get involved or donate to Lighthouse of Oakland County, visit their website at www.lighthouseoakland.org or call their Pontiac location at 248-920-6000 or their Clarkston location at 248-620-6116. Orion Area Youth Assistants recognized some of Lake Orion's finest young people at the 19th Annual Recognition Awards on April 26th. The ceremony was held at Lake Orion High School's Performing Arts Center and featured many prominent local officials, including Deputy Oakland County Executive Matt Gibb, Township Supervisor Joanne Van Tassel, Township Clerk Penny Schultz, and Chief of Youth Assistants Mary Schosterbauer. The assembly was addressed by keynote speaker Gail Perry Mason, well-known author, speaker, mentor, and founder of Money Matters for Youth. Students were recognized for their charitable contributions to the Lake Orion community, as well as their service in tutoring and mentoring. Township Clerk Penny Schultz spoke with us about the importance of recognizing young people for their hard work and dedication to serving the Orion area.
There's a great need in this community for people to feel appreciated, for the youth to know that they matter. There's a great need in this community for the youth to know that they are making a difference in the lives of so many people. And tonight, Youth Assistance is recognizing them for what they have done and given so unselfishly of their time. The other thing that I think is so important to know is that these kids do it out of love. They do that. They give away their time to others. They share what they've learned because people have sown into their life the very same thing. And they're modeling what they have seen throughout their life. And we know that that's going to produce others that do the same. And so we just want to keep sowing into something that's so important and so valuable to our community. And I want to thank everyone who is a part of this. Youth Assistants, you are amazing. Thank you.
Orion Area Youth Assistants provides services to the Orion community, including counseling services, counseling support, casework services to families within the Lake Orion School District, mentoring and tutoring. For more information on Orion Area Youth Assistants, contact local caseworker Amber Kish. On May 4th, the students of Carpenter Elementary participated in their 2012 Fun Run. Students took to the track to help raise money for their school. This annual event serves as the school's major fundraiser for the year. Students collected pledges on how many laps they could run in 20 minutes, with all proceeds going back to the school for special yearly events. The Fun Run is put on by the Carpenter PTC. Here's Principal of Carpenter Elementary, Carrie Anderson.
The PTC pays for assemblies and field trips and teacher grants and all different kinds of things throughout the school year, and this is our major fundraiser for that. We raise anywhere between $12,000 and $15,000 through this one event. So we hope that every family contributes every student contributes about $50, and then that money is just all filtered right back into the classrooms.
Wristbands were given out for each lap completed. About 45 parent volunteers helped with the Fun Run, giving out wristbands, water bottles, and snacks for all of the 450 participants. Carpenter is Lake Orion's only year-round school and serves grades kindergarten through 5th. We're going to step away for a quick break, but when we return, we'll have a story about the upcoming post office food drive to benefit the Oxford Orion Fish Food Pantry. This is ONTV News. Stay with us. Video classes are now enrolling. Reserve your seat today. Call 248-693-3377. Studio and field production classes are available. Learn how to make your own television program and learn the basics of television production. Call 248-693-3377. A service of Orion Neighborhood Television. Welcome back to Ontv News. I'm Ian Locke. Well, we all know that our local post office works hard every day delivering our mail without fail. Well, the post office here in Lake Orion is going above and beyond with an upcoming food drive to benefit Oxford Orion Fish Food Pantry. Here's Joe Johnson with this story.
On Saturday, May 12th, the National Association of Letter Carriers, along with the U.S. Post Office, will hold their 20th annual Stamp Out Hunger Food Drive. It's the largest one-day food collection event in the nation. Last year, over 70 million pounds of food was collected across the country. Of course, the Lake Orion Post Office will be taking part in the drive, and letter carriers will be collecting non-perishable items left in bags or boxes at each mailbox along their route on Saturday.
Well, we're obviously asking for donations of food to fill up the food pantry, the local one here, the fish pantry. Some people are worried that some of the donations may go outside the community, and they want to make sure that they're actually helping people within their own community. So the first thing that I'd really like to express is that the donations will stay local. What I'd like them to do is make sure that it's non-perishable items, obviously. If we could avoid glass containers of food, because they're very hard to ship and to fish, and sometimes there's breakage and that causes some issues. And then if they would pay attention to expiration dates on the food as well, just to make sure that they're, because we do each year, we collect, thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds of food. In excess probably of 10,000 pounds just here in Lake Orion. And of that, though, we are probably throwing some of that away because it's expired. We can't give those to the food pantry. So check that as well if they would. A couple of other items I'd like everybody to know is that on Saturday, May the 12th, if they could leave that food donation by the mailbox and do it in the morning so that they make sure that they get it out there before the carrier gets out to deliver their mail, and then the carrier will pick that up.
As the postmaster said, Oxford Orion Fish will be the recipient of the food collected in this area. The food collected during the drive is expected to help sustain Fish's reserves for approximately 9 months.
Oh, it means everything to the fish program because it fills our basement with a large food supply on which we can disperse through the months. We do serve 180 families, and that includes 483 people altogether that we're feeding. And also that includes 14,000 pounds of food dispersed every month. And we run a very, very nice pantry. Our clients are lucky, and they do come back and say thank you. In this time, we keep on getting more clients because of the economy, and we're happy to serve everyone, and we thank everyone who donates to it, because without this drive, we wouldn't be able to serve this many people with this much food.
If there's for some reason they cannot participate, or they want to participate more than just on the 12th, we have a drop-off point in our outer lobby here at the post office where they can continue to leave donations throughout the year, and the fish pantry will come in and pick that up as soon as it fills up. We give them a call, they come get it. So, not just the 12th, we can continue to do this year-round, right. And this is a nice spot to come in and, a nice collection point for them to bring their food in. So.
If you'd like to drop off food at the Lake Orion branch, it's located at 611 North Axford Street, just north of Indianwood Road. If you have any questions, you're encouraged to call them between the hours of 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday at 248-693-3253. In Lake Orion, this is Joe Johnson reporting for ONTV News.
Thanks, Joe. Speaking of hunger relief, more than 200 walkers representing 13 area churches came together to end hunger, not just here in Orion, but throughout the world. On Sunday, May 6th, the walkers gathered at Christ the Redeemer Church in Orion Township for the start of the 30th annual Crop Hunger Walk. Those taking part had their choice of a full 10K route or a shorter 2-mile path. Created by Church World Services, more than 1,500 walks take place across the country throughout the year, 140 in Michigan alone. The Oxford Orion Walk has raised more than $500,000 in its 30 years of existence, with 25% of the proceeds raised benefiting local hunger relief efforts.
We raise funds for local hunger agencies. 25% of everything we raise at every local walk stays local. So 15% is going to the fish food pantry, 10% goes to Love in the Name of Christ, and then the rest of it goes to disaster relief like Katrina, after Katrina, and then goes across the world to dig wells in Africa, set up schools that have been destroyed by war or flood or earthquake.
I love the enthusiasm. It's like one big, huge party. And everybody just coming together that haven't seen each other perhaps since last year's crop walk. And it's great to see a lot of the same old faces, plus the large number of young kids that turn out for walking. It's a tremendous family activity.
You know, obviously these are people who care. They know that their brothers and sisters in other parts of the world and some here in our own community just don't have enough. And so they are willing to give of their time, ask people to sponsor them, and just really show that they care to make a difference.
If you'd like more information about the Oxford Orion Fish Food Pantry, visit their website at oxfordorionfish.org or call 248-628-3933 or 248-628-5352. On Thursday, May 3rd, the Orion Area Chamber of Commerce hosted a joint luncheon with the Oxford Chamber of Commerce at Boulder Point Country Club in Oxford, where members of both chambers were able to network. Following lunch, Orion Chamber Executive Director Elena Campbell introduced representatives of the Oakland County Sheriff's Office, including the newly hired commander of the Orion Township Substation, Lieutenant Daniel Toth. Lieutenant Toth was chosen to replace Lieutenant Bruce Nail, who retired from the Sheriff's Office in April. The Lieutenant is a 25-year veteran of the Sheriff's Office, spending time on the dive team and Marine Division. He told us he's looking forward to serving Orion Township.
Well, the whole key here is just good communication, and we're going to put more emphasis and focus on just that. We do a great job, locking up the bad guys. The Sheriff's Office has a lot of resources, but I want everyone to know that we are your local police. We provide all those local assets and duties, whether it's homeowner association meetings and lockouts and house checks and things like that. But the whole key here is just good communication, and it's both ways. So we need that input from the community on crime tips and just letting us know what's going on. That's huge right there, communication.
The Oakland County Sheriff's Office has been providing police service to Orion Township since 1952. The substation located at Township Hall is open from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. Their non-emergency phone number is 248-393-0090. The village budget has been in the news lately, with the struggling economy still wreaking havoc on municipal budgets. Local government agencies are trying to decide where cuts will be made. One cut proposed by the village of Lake Orion that drew concern from local residents was the elimination of lifeguards at Greens Park. Residents were concerned for the safety of those who visit the park for a dip in the lake. Village residents were given a survey if they would rather pay a fee to use the park or keep the lifeguards, or drop the entrance fee and cut the guards altogether. The results of the survey showed that 55% favored paying an entrance fee and keeping the lifeguards on duty, while 45% favored dropping the fee and the lifeguards. The council put it to a vote after a presentation by the Parks and Recreation Department and decided to factor in the cost of the guards on a vote of 4-2. Be sure to tune in to Lake Orion Village Council meetings on the 2nd and 4th Mondays of the month at 7:30 p.m. on Government Access Comcast Channel 20 and AT&T U-verse Channel 99. Village Council meetings are also replayed on Tuesdays and Fridays at 12 a.m., 8 a.m., and 7 p.m. Meetings can also be viewed on demand at our website at orionontv.org. After this break, we'll have LOHS Sports with highlights from the first ever televised varsity baseball game against the Wildcats from Oxford. This is ONTV News. We'll be right back.
Did you know that you can watch ONTV on the web? How cool is that? Just surf on over to www.orionontv.org to watch your favorite on-TV show. A service of Orion Neighborhood Television.
Welcome back. Ontv covered our very first LOHS varsity baseball game on April 27th. It was game 1 of a doubleheader against rival Oxford. Lake Orion came into the game with a 10-5 record and undefeated in OAA Red Division play with a record of 5-0. Oxford was third in the OAA Red standings with a division record of 1-2. Lake Orion's starting pitcher Brad Schenzer got off to a rough first inning, allowing 2 runs. The first run scoring off an RBI groundout by Oxford senior Kyle Hartwick. An RBI double by Jeremy White made it 2-0 at the end of the half inning. In the second inning, Brad Schenzer would let his bat do the talking and get Lake Orion back into the ball game. After Oxford's starting pitcher Matthew Zitney allowed back-to-back singles to start off the inning, Schenzer drove in both the base runners with a line drive double to right. Zitney would allow 1 more run to score in the second inning, putting Lake Orion ahead 3-1. It was a tale of 2 games for Schenzer. While his bat was hot, he struggled on the mound, allowing 5 more runs to score in the third inning. Kyle Hartwick drove in his second RBI with a double, tying the game at 3 apiece. Schenzer would allow another run to score, putting Oxford ahead by 1, but it was a 3-run bases-clearing double by Vinnie Griffith that would knock Schenzer out of the game. Lake Orion's Nick Vogelmeyer would come on to finish the inning. Orion's Nick Deeg would score on a run in their half of the third to make the score 4-7. In the fourth, Brad Schenzer would score a run with some heads-up base running after a botched double play ball at first. Lake Orion would pull to within 2. Unfortunately, that's where the score would be stuck for the rest of the game. Vogelmeyer was strong in relief, allowing no runs in 4 1/3 innings, but Oxford's pitcher Zitney picked up his game and matched Vogelmeyer inning for inning, earning the complete game win. And the final, the Lake Orion Dragons dropped to the Wildcats 7-4 in the final, the first game of a doubleheader. In the second game, Lake Orion prevailed, though, in offensive fashion, 15-6, taking down the Wildcats in the nightcap. This game is currently running on ONTV Public Access Comcast Channel 10, AT&T U-verse Channel 99. Tune in Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 7 p.m. for all of the action. ONTV, your home for Dragon sports. The Lake Orion Youth Baseball League had their opening day festivities starting with games on Friday night, May 4th, and Saturday morning, May 5th. The T-ball action was fast and furious as first-time players got to be the stars of the show. Practice for the teams began 2 weeks ago. The LOYBL has teams for players ranging in age from 5 on up to 18 years old and is run 100% by volunteers. The organization makes baseball a fun learning environment for all who play. For more information about Lake Orion Youth Baseball, visit LOYBL.com. We all know baseball is just getting underway around Orion, but youth soccer has been hitting the field since early April. We have results from the Lady Lobos U9 Black Squad, which was in action Sunday, May 6th. The Lady Lobos met up with the Arrows from Genesee. Both teams came into this game undefeated in the MYSL. The Arrows got off to a quick start, taking a 2-0 lead. The Lobos would bounce back to tie the match at 2. In the second half, the Lobos jumped a ball deep in the Arrows' end and took the lead 3-2. The Arrows would respond to tie the match just seconds later. A big call came against the Lobos on a handball in the box, resulting in a penalty kick at point-blank range. The shot was wide right, preserving the 3-all tie. The Lobos had one last chance to take the win in the last minute of play, but good defense by the Arrows turned away the Lobos' last shot at the win. A very exciting game indeed. The Lobos remain undefeated at 4-0-1, while the Arrows sit at 3-0-1 on the season. If you'd like to learn more about youth soccer in Lake Orion, visit either the Orion Oxford Soccer League website at ooslsoccer.org or stop over to the Lobos website at lobossoccer.com for information about travel, teams, and our community. On Tuesday, May 1st, Lake Orion's varsity boys track team won yet another match, having then completed this season undefeated, with a final score of 96.5 to Stony Creek's 31.5. Lake Orion won a total of 12 out of the 16 events. Charlie Maurer was a double winner, taking the 110-meter hurdles and the 400-meter run. Senior Nick Balovich was also a double winner in both the high jump and the 200-meter dash. Lake Orion also won the 400, 800, and 1600 meter relays. The team is now 5-0 at the end of their dual meet season. Briefly, Wednesday, May 2nd, the LOHS varsity softball team split a doubleheader with Clarkston. In the first game, Bree Schwartz was 1 for 2 and Kennedy Thomas was 1 for 3. The big news, though, was pitcher Alicia Grunikowski, who pitched a complete game shutout in the 3-0 win. In the second game, Lake Orion lost 4-3. Sierra Woods, Danielle Goldie, and Taylor Dillon each picked up a hit for the Dragons. Don't forget, the LOHS Oxford baseball game is currently running on ONTV Comcast Public Access Channel 10 and at AT&T UVerse Channel 99 at 7 p.m. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, and Sundays at 1 p.m. ONTV, your home for Dragon sports. That's all for this edition of ONTV News. If you'd like to be a part of Orion Neighborhood Television, sign up for orientation. Call to reserve your seat at 248-693-3377 or 248-393-1060. Orientation is free, and it's your first step in becoming a part of ONTV. Our next orientation is scheduled for May 21st at 7 p.m. right here in our studio at 1349 Joslyn Road at the Orion Center. Well, that's all for this edition of ONTV News. If you'd like to watch past episodes of ONTV News, head on over to our webpage at orionontv.org and click on our YouTube link. We'll leave you now with footage from the LOHS Band's senior recital held on Monday, April 30th. Tune in to see the full program on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7 p.m. For the crew here at ONTV News, I'm Ian Locke, and we'll see you next time.